Hi. In the next series of videos, I would like to share with you my exploration of NLP, hypnotherapy, and meditation. My intention in doing so is for a number of reasons. The first is to save you time so that you can cut to the chase and extract the powerful tools that NLP, hypnosis, and meditation have to offer you. In doing so, I hope to empower you. You see, both NLP and hypnosis have got a bad reputation in some circles, and yet they both offer you powerful tools when used properly. In addition, the tools and techniques that NLP have to offer have been in use for a long time, but it's only been since the conception of NLP that they've now been explicated and made available to everyone, including you. In addition, some people think that hypnosis is a method of control over others, and yet it is something that we all use and experience on a daily basis. Hypnosis is also a key element in religion, meditation, spiritual experiences, health, and healing. So I would like to help you harness the power of self-hypnosis to enrich your life and the lives of those around you. And then we have meditation. Once again, we have an area replete with misconceptions which have been used by some gurus to exploit the masses. So to begin this story, we start back in 1983. That was the year that I burned out after 12 years working as a laboratory technician and photographer. I had also recently got divorced a couple of years earlier, so I was 28 years old. Now, I don't know what you know about the development of the 7 subtle bodies, but I'm sure you've heard of the 7 chakras. So each subtle body takes about 7 years to develop. The first body is the physical body, all right? It's associated with the development of the conscious mind. And in the first 4 years of life, the physical body forms and there is a development of the conscious mind. And then between about 7 and 14, the emotional body forms, also known as the etheric body or unconscious mind. And around 14 years of age, the body reaches sexual maturity and there's a new sense of personal identity. You see this in the typical reactive teenage behavior. And then we get to the third subtle body. So between 14 and 21, the intellect forms, also known as the astral body or collective unconscious mind. The teenager learns how to question reality and think for themselves, hopefully. And then around 18 to 21 years of age, the young adult is given the right to vote. Then we get to the fourth subtle body. So between 21 and 28, the mental body forms. This is the cosmic unconscious mind. In this stage, the young adult learns how to position themselves in the business world. And then between 28 and 35, the spiritual body forms. And between 35 and 42, the cosmic body forms. And between 42 and 49, the nirvanic body forms. And if you're interested in the 7 subtle bodies and the evolution of consciousness, then there's more detail in my meditation book. If you want a free copy, use the coupon code to get a free download. Okay, let's get back on track. If you look at your own life and the lives of others, you will see behavior that matches the development of the 7 subtle bodies and the evolution of consciousness. You will find that what was important to you at one stage of your life will be meaningless to you at another stage of your life. This is why it is useful to do regular future selfing exercises and keep track of how your values shift. This is doubly important if you're in a relationship. So anyway, up until my mid-20s, my life was way off track. From a teenager, I'd resorted to drugs and alcohol as a way to deal with my life situation, which really only served to suppress my life energy. So as the mental body, that is the fourth subtle body, began to mature in my mid to late 20s, I became more conscious that my life was off track and there was something that I needed to do, but I wasn't quite sure what that was. I was enrolled in a psychology degree at university. I was a photographer. I was exploring various forms of art like silk screening. So my life energy propelled me into a search for something. For some reason, I wanted to learn how to meditate, so I started looking around for a meditation school. And by chance, I was at a fashion event in Fremantle, looking for some ways to sell my silkscreen garments. And this guy, dressed in orange with a mala, that's a set of beads around his neck, introduces himself to me. We got into a conversation. I mentioned meditation, and he told me about Osho's dynamic meditation. So the next day, I go down to the Rajni Centre of Frio to inquire about their meditations. For some reason, I don't know why, I told them I wanted something heavy duty. So the Ma suggested dynamic meditation. The next morning, I rode my Ducati motorbike in the dark, freezing cold, to start dynamic meditation at 6 a.m. And that, in a way, was the beginning of the end of my old lifestyle and my old consciousness. It messed with my mind so much that I couldn't focus on my psychology studies at university, so I ended up dropping out. And for those of you who think that all meditation is about sitting quietly, cross-legged with your eyes closed, think again. Dynamic meditation was developed by Osho, the contemporary Zen mystic in the 1970s. And I'll give you a quick rundown. Excuse me, there's a lot of smoke in the air. We have bushfires here on the Gold Coast at the moment. Excuse me. So dynamic. Dynamic. It's an hour-long meditation done to music. The first 2 stages are 10 minutes long, and the last 3 are 15 minutes long. It's done standing up with your eyes closed. There are 5 stages. In the first stage, you use a chaotic breathing technique to break up the holding patterns in the body. Stage 2, it's a catharsis. You shout, scream, cry, beat pillows, dance wildly, whatever you express, whatever arose in the first stage. And the next stage, stage 3, with hands held above your head, you jump gently up and down, landing on your heels, shouting the Sufi mantra, "Hu, hu, hu, hu." And when you hear Osho say stop, you freeze on the spot and remain absolutely still. This is stage 4. One time when I did this, I felt like I was going to go crazy or die if I remained standing there. But I remained absolutely still. And then my sense of consciousness shifted from around my head to the heart region for about 10 seconds. And then it moved back up to the head. It was really amazing. And this commitment to following your original intention, no matter what happens, is the key to getting into flow and achieving all sorts of outcomes, including spiritual experiences. Now remember my mantra that I use: set an intention which drives your attention onto the task at hand so that you can focus in and concentrate. And in doing so, you plunge into the eternal now, as Stephen Kotler puts it. Anyway, I got a bit off track. The 5th stage of dynamic meditation is to dance and celebrate whatever occurred during the meditation. So that's dynamic meditation. Check it out online. Okay, so back to my story. So my routine was to get up at 5:30 a.m, drive in freezing cold to Frio, meditate for an hour, come home, have breakfast, shower, and then go to bed for an hour. So about a week after starting dynamic, I get home, eat breakfast, shower, go to bed, and then I found myself leaning against the bedroom wall, looking at myself asleep in bed. And then I fell through the wall, and this scared the daylights out of me. And I entered my body with a jolt, and I woke up. And I was scared. And I got out of bed, and I ran to see my flatmate in the next room. Anyway, so that was the first of many out-of-body experiences that were to follow. I made notes of some of my spiritual experiences, and if you're interested, you can read them on my website. And if you would like to discuss your spiritual experiences, we can do so on the NLP and Hypnotherapy group on Facebook. So what I learned from Osho was that meditation is not about sitting quietly in your best yoga posture. Meditation is preparation for death. Meditation is an inquiry into your interiority. Meditation is an inquiry into truth, into consciousness. And as such, it requires an intensity and an urgency as if this is the last moment of your life. So I don't know if you meditate or not, but how many people would describe meditation in those terms? And when you think about it, when Gautama the Buddha saw those things that disturbed him, did he talk about it with his friends and the family? No. He made a decision to go into the wilderness and find what it is that is beyond death. So that night he walked out on his wife, who was ready to give birth to his son the next day, and he headed off into the forest to make an inquiry into consciousness. He acted with a sense of urgency as if this was the last moment of his life. And Osho used to talk about squeezing the juice from life, about squeezing the juice from each and every moment. So what do you do? Do it consciously. When walking, just walk. When eating, just eat. When talking with a friend, talk to the friend. And when watching a TV show, watch the show and be total in that experience. Whatever you do, focus in and be total in that experience. And the mantra that you would have heard me use is set an intention which drives your attention onto the task at hand such that you can focus in and concentrate, and then you find yourself plunged into the eternal now. And this is what the mystics and the talk about. And even though I didn't understand that at the time, when I started dynamic meditation, that was what I was doing. And I think that it began to loosen up the distinctions between conscious mind and unconscious mind, such that now I think more in terms of a consciousness, a conscious awareness that is conscious of thoughts that arise in the mind. And we can talk about this in another video, but what I would like you to understand is that all thoughts arise out of the unconscious mind. That's all thoughts arise out of the unconscious mind. And that you can have an awareness of those thoughts. So when it comes to dealing with habitual behaviors like cigarettes, marijuana, alcohol, gambling, binge eating, etc., and once you understand that thoughts are just thoughts, then it frees you to train the unconscious mind to change what thoughts arise in the mind, such that you then can directionalize your mind towards more positive behavioral outcomes. Does that make sense? Thoughts are just thoughts. Thoughts arise in the mind for one reason or another. And if the thoughts don't serve you by creating positive behavioral outcomes, then train the unconscious mind to change what thoughts arise in the mind such that you get the behavior that you desire. NLP, hypnotherapy, and meditation give you some powerful tools to do just that. But it requires awareness. Right? Awareness is the key. Anyway, that's enough for this video. And I'm really interested to read your comments. And if you've not done so, you're welcome to join us over at the Facebook group for a discussion. All the best to you, and I look forward to seeing you again.